Hey guys, today I want to talk about caffeine and why it's the best tool to study for your exams, prepare for your exams, do well, pass, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, it is the best tool to aid in your exam preparation. So, why is that? So, there are plenty of supplements out there which, say that they improve cognition, focus, memory. A few of them are ginkgo biloba, bacopa moneri, there's alpha GPC, L-tyrosine, but the benefits of all these are limited and maybe they might improve by 5-10%, but caffeine on the other hand can improve your performance drastically, and it's worked wonders for me, and I'm sure it'll work wonders for you if it is used correctly and properly. So what are the benefits of caffeine? So it increases alertness and focus, it increases your attention span, decreases mental fatigue, so helps you go on studying for longer, and also for me personally it improves my mood and puts me in a state where I want to study and prepare. So very important thing is the timing of caffeine. When do you want to take it? So I recommend taking caffeine earlier in the morning. So let's say my usual routine was I used to wake up around 6:30/7, and I used to start studying by 7:30, and I used to have my first cup of coffee around 8:30. So what I used to realize was that around if I have my first cup of coffee around 8:30, then I used to feel the effects start to wear off around 11:30. Somehow I used to push it to around 12:30/1, and around 1 o'clock I used to have my second cup of coffee usually. So these are two spaced out doses throughout the day, and topping up your dose at around 1 p.m. really helps you push that your studying range to about 4 p.m., after which the effects of caffeine start to wear off. So how did I used to take caffeine? So what I used to do was I used to use these branded packets. So you can also make your filter coffee at home using your strainers and all, but the problem with that is the amount of caffeine in the liquid used to vary based on the strength that I used to make it, and it wasn't like linear, and sometimes the decoction used to turn out strong and sometimes the decoction used to be weaker. So what I used to use was these ready-made packets, either this ID one or this other one by Kothas Coffee, because they used to maintain that standard strength of the decoction. Also, how I used to dose it was according to this chart here, and as you can see, what happens here is that I used to take it with 1 second. Yeah, and I used to take it like is the first cup 7.5 ml in week 1. So suppose my exam duration or preparation of exam duration was about 2 months. So what I used to do was I used to start off with a first 2-week complete fast from coffee, where I have no caffeine intake for a period of 2 weeks. So I become sensitive to its effects again. And starting with week 1, I used to mix 7.5 ml of the filter coffee decoction, and in the first cup, and the second cup used to be 5 ml, and I used to increase my first cup decoction ml by about 2.5 ml each week, because I used to feel that after 1 week the effects of the filter coffee used to wear off a bit faster and the effect wasn't as sustained. So I used to increase by 2.5 ml, and this used to keep me going throughout the weeks. And my second cup of coffee was relatively stagnant at 5 ml. Around about week 5, I used to stop at 15 ml, and I used to increase because I felt like 15 ml used to create enough of an effect for me, and I didn't feel the need to increase it. But if you want, you can, because I visited a bunch of coffee stalls, like Bangalore Cafe, IDC, and I had like their filter coffee. And whenever I measured how much decoction they used to put, let's say they used to put about 30 ml of decoction per cup, and let's say an average cup of filter coffee in India has about 80 to 140 milligrams of caffeine. Let's take an average of 100 to 120. Let's take 100 to be precise. The US FDA recommends about a maximum dose of 400 milligrams of caffeine per day. So you can have up to 4 cups of filter coffee with 30 ml decoction. Whereas here, even in my max thing, I was only having a total of week 8, I was having a total of only 30 ml of decoction per day, which is far less than the recommended max limit. So you can push up to like 100 ml, let's say 30 ml per cup, so you can drink 4 cups. So you can push up to like 120 ml of decoction without worrying about any crazy side effects of caffeine. And I used to drink less because, for me, caffeine used to work at this dosage itself. For some people, this dosage might not work at all. So based on this dosage is not to recommend dosages of caffeine to anyone, or like how much filter coffee they should drink. It's more like to give you an idea of how to use and how to titrate your dosages so that they have a sustained effect and they have a beneficial effect to you throughout the weeks as the weeks go by and the exam preparation is going on, because we do develop a tolerance for coffee as time goes on. So what I recommend, and once the exam comes close, we'll be scared anyway, so we won't need caffeine to study. The fear itself will keep us up and make us study. So the weeks leading up to the exam are the important weeks where if we can use coffee to our advantage and use it to prepare harder and a little bit better, we'll be at a better position once the exam gets a bit closer. So another few important tips that you should keep in mind, which I used to follow, is that my last dose of coffee was at 1 p.m. because I am susceptible to the effects of it. So if I used to drink it after 5, it used to affect my sleep at night because I used to sleep by 10:30, 11. And so my last dose of caffeine was done at 1. So my first dose was at 8, my second dose was at 1, and that's it. I never used to drink any caffeine after that. And what happens was, my meals were also planned around this. So I never used to eat anything major till like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So as soon as I wake up, I used to drink a cup of coffee. Around 1 hour later, I used to have a handful of almonds or like walnuts and blueberries, a little bit of stuff like that. And around 11:30, 12, I used to have like a cup of fruits, either papaya or like pineapple or something like that. And around 1:30 or 2, I used to drink a small protein shake. And my major meal, which I used to eat was only at 4:30 p.m. And this why? Because this eating made me sleepier. So when I did not eat, I was alert and I could study better till like 4 p.m. 4 p.m. I used to have a good meal, some few vegetables, a chapati, some eggs, and nothing too carbohydrate rich again, because I still had quite a bit of studying to do for the remainder of the day. So my main thing consisted of salad, eggs, and 2 slices of toast, usually with a good proportion of butter. And then what I used to do after this meal, I used to nap for 20 minutes. And then after napping for 20 minutes, I used to feel refreshed. I used to take my face, dip it in a bucket of ice water so that wakes me up. And I could study around, say, till like 8:30 p.m. Around 8:30 p.m. I used to do a little bit of exercise. And 9 p.m. I used to eat. And when I used to eat in the night, I used to eat like a carbohydrate-rich meal so that I get nice sleep in the night. And after 9, there was no more studying. I was done. I used to sit and watch a movie with my parents or like do something else which I wanted to do. So beyond 9, there was no studying. It was done. I was done for the day, and I would not study no matter what. So coming back to the topic at hand. So as long as we stay within the 400 milligrams of caffeine, let's say on average a cup of filter coffee has around 120 milligrams or 100 milligrams of caffeine. As long as you're within 4 cups of filter coffee a day, you should be absolutely fine. However, if you start to feel side effects such as, when you're studying, you start to feel jittery, restless, or you start to have effects of jittery and restlessness can be fixed by, reducing your caffeine dosage, titrate your dosage down a bit. And your insomnia can be fixed by, your last dose of caffeine, make sure it's before 3 or 2 p.m. max. Depending on your sleeping time, you can adjust it. I used to make sure I did not have it within 8 hours of my bedtime. That's about it. Alright guys, this is how I would use coffee to optimize my exam preparation. Thank you.